Good morning and welcome to our midday briefing. Today is Tuesday, 14th of November. Following the meeting of the heads of cabinet, I can announce the agenda and press events that we are preparing for the meeting of the college tomorrow here in Brussels. The college will discuss a package that comprises several proposals concerning skills and mobility to make the EU more attractive to European and international talent. Vice President Skinas and Commissioners Johansson and Ivanova will come to the press room tomorrow to present it. Now, I would like to call Balázs to the podium. He has an announcement on our humanitarian aid to support Ukraine.
En effet, bonjour. Donc, alors que la guerre de la Russie contre l'Ukraine se poursuit, la situation humanitaire dans le pays reste malheureusement désastreuse. Donc, la Commission a eu pour cette raison 110 millions d'euros d'aide humanitaire, dont 100 millions pour les opérations en Ukraine et 10 millions pour soutenir les réfugiés ukrainiens et les communautés d'accueil en Moldavie. Ce nouveau financement aidera les partenaires humanitaires de l'Union européenne à fournir des services essentiels tels que la nourriture, l'eau, les abris, les soins de santé, le soutien psychosocial et la protection. Cette dernière allocation porte à 843 millions d'euros le montant total de l'aide humanitaire de l'Union européenne en réponse à la guerre menée par la Russie en Ukraine. Vous trouverez plus d'informations dans nos Daily News.
Thank you, Balázs. And to continue, I call Johanna to join me on the podium for an announcement following the agreement reached yesterday between the co-legislators on the Critical Raw Materials Act.
Thank you, Arianna. Good day. Yes, indeed. So the Commission welcomes the political agreement on the Critical Raw Materials Act that was reached yesterday between the European Parliament and the Council. Access to critical raw materials is essential for the EU's green and digital transition and for remaining competitive in the defence and aerospace industries. And the new Act will ensure that the supply of critical raw materials to the EU is secure, diversified, affordable and sustainable. The new rules will help Europe to increase domestic capacities, to mitigate demand of critical raw materials and to diversify imports. So for increasing the domestic capacities, there will be benchmarks along the supply chain and there will be designated strategic projects which will benefit from more efficient permitting and facilitated access to finance. The demand will be mitigated through resource efficiency and technological progress. And finally, for diversifying imports, there is going to be a benchmark for reliance on any single source of supply. Other elements of the agreed act yesterday are a list of critical and strategic raw materials, monitoring for critical raw materials supply chains, and coordination of strategic stocks of raw materials in the Member States. And the next steps is now for the European Parliament and the Council to formally agree on the agreement that they reached politically yesterday. And you can find more details in the press material that we published yesterday evening.
Thank you very much, Johanna. Puis, je me permets de vous rappeler que le haut représentant Josep Borrell préside aujourd'hui un Conseil des affaires étrangères défense ici à Bruxelles. Le commissaire Thierry Breton y participe pour la Commission. Les ministres tiendront notamment un débat sur le soutien de l'Union européenne à l'Ukraine. Dans le cadre des questions d'actualité, ils discutent de la capacité de déploiement rapide et des engagements en cours dans le cadre de la politique de sécurité et de défense commune. La réunion était précédée d'un petit déjeuner informel avec le secrétaire général de l'OTAN, Jens Stoltenberg, et le comité directeur de l'Agence européenne de défense. Une conférence de presse avec le représentant aura lieu plus tard dans l'après-midi et je vous invite donc à garder vos questions relatives à ces sujets pour cette occasion. Voilà qui clôt nos annonces aujourd'hui. Nous sommes donc prêts à passer à vos questions. Allez-y.
Blaž Mohorčić from the Slovenian Press Agency. I have one a bit more technical question. Are you going to publish also autumn economic forecast tomorrow, or is it postponed? Thank you.
Thank you. Let's see if Verle can already provide some information on this technical aspect.
Hello, thank you for your question. So indeed, tomorrow the autumn economic forecast, so the 2023 autumn economic forecast will be published. This will be published at the beginning of the press conference. And after the press conference, there will be a technical briefing, and I will be updating you in the course of today on the exact timing of both the press conference and the technical briefing.
Thank you. So more information later today on the organization of this. Other questions for Verle on the files she covers since she's here with me? Mose, is it for Verle?
I think so, because it relates to a report yesterday by European Court of Auditors, a so-called review report on the Commission's annual management and performance report. Is that for you?
I think it's for Balázs, but let's see. Maybe he had an urgency. We will get back to you, Mose. Apologies. I hope it's okay. We will leave it for later, the question. Are there other questions for us today? Please go ahead.
Good morning. Lidia Montes from El Economista. I wonder if the Commission has made any assessment on the Spanish amnesty law, and if you could provide us with some details about it. Thank you.
Thank you. Christian, do we have any updates?
Yes, thanks for the question. We are aware that the draft law has now been introduced in the Congress, but according to our information, still has to be officially published by the Spanish Congress. In reply to Commissioner Reynders' letter, Minister Bolaños indicated that in case such a proposal was presented, the Spanish authorities would provide to Vice President Jourova and Commissioner Reynders the details of the law, as well as the position of the government. And we still expect to receive such information in due course.
Thank you, Christian. Are there...
Maybe just to reply more concretely to your question, once we will have received more information, which we expect in due course, of course, we will look into it. But at this stage, we would not further comment.
Thanks a lot. Other questions relating to this matter? Does not seem to be the case. Other question for Christian, since he's here with me? Not the case either. Many thanks. Other questions for us today? Not the case. So, Mose, we come back to you. Can you repeat your question, and let's see if Balázs has an answer for you. Otherwise, we will get back bilaterally.
As I said, I mean, the European Court of Auditors published a so-called review report yesterday. It's not an ordinary audit report, so the Commission was not obliged to reply to that report, and that's why I think it's more important, to get your response to it, because it's about the Commission's own so-called annual management and performance report. But that was published, I mean, already, I think, during the summer. So there is no really coordination of the timing of that report and the Court's auditors' audit of it. The question now is that there seems to be very big differences between the figures given in the Commission's report about the estimated error rates in the budget, in the spending. And that, I think, it's a bit strange. I mean, I just want to ask, because that means that, according to the Commission, I mean, the error rate is below the so-called materiality level of 2%. If that is the case, if the Commission thinks so, then perhaps there's no reason for anyone in the Commission to take responsibility or to be held accountable for a high error rate. So why can't the Commission and the European Court of Auditors agree on a common, let's say, methodology to estimate the errors, the irregularities in the budget. Thanks.
Yeah, indeed. Thank you, Mose. That allows me to formulate our views on the audit report that came out just recently. So, of course, we take note of the Court of Auditors review on the Commission's 2022 annual management and performance report for the EU budget. We know that this is the first time that the ECHA publishes this report. The Commission also takes note of the conclusions of ECHA's review, and we welcome ECHA's view that the Commission has good procedures for preparing the AMPR, but also that there is still room for improvement with regards to the quality of performance data collected and presenting consolidated performance information. The Commission also acknowledges the importance of a solid and reliable performance information and is committed to presenting high-quality performance information going forward. Now, when it comes to the timing, I'm just going to note that we have a regulatory deadline to prepare the AMPR report, and we prepared it in accordance with this deadline. So, of course, it is for the court to decide when to review what report. It is their decision, but on our side, the report was prepared on time. Then maybe on the difference, let me just point out a couple of factors. So, of course, the Commission, as we said before, and the Court of Auditors have somewhat differing roles and methodologies. So the Court of Auditors, as an external auditor, delivers on an annual basis an opinion on the legality and regularity of transactions, together with an error rate essentially based on extrapolation of errors found in a sample of a few hundreds of transactions, which are representative of payments across the entire EU budget, whereas the Commission, as a manager of the EU budget, provides a management assurance on multi-annual programs. This assurance is obtained by following a bottom-up approach, where the Commission relies on hundreds of thousands of controls done at the EU and national levels.
Thanks a lot, Balázs. Are there other questions relating to this report? I see a couple of hands raised. I'm not sure if it relates to this. I'll give it a try. Sander, is it on this?
It's not on this, but it's for Balázs.
Okay, thank you. Let me check with Mathieu. Mathieu, is it on this? No, you unraised your hand. Mathieu? Actually, the hand is still there.
Well, it's for Balázs, but on another topic.
Okay, thanks. Then I'll first go to Sander, and then I'll come back to you. Sander, the floor is yours.
Hi, yes, thank you. Balázs, did the Hungarian government already send a reply to the latest questionnaire related to EU funds and justice report?
Thank you, Sander. It's actually for Christian. Therefore, I'll first go to Mathieu, as Balázs is here with me, and then we'll get back to your question.
Oui, bonjour. C'était donc sur la question du multilinguisme. Donc le Conseil Affaires Générales avait demandé en octobre à la Commission de préparer justement des rapports sur les coûts liés à la traduction, à l'interprétariat, me semble-t-il, dans les discussions concernant la demande espagnole d'octroyer le statut de langue officielle de l'UE aux Catalans, aux Galiciens et aux Basques. Donc voilà, est-ce que la Commission a des chiffres à communiquer sur ce sujet ?
Oui, merci Mathieu. Pas de chiffres à communiquer en ce moment. Ce que je peux confirmer, c'est que la présidence espagnole a demandé à la Commission de coordonner le travail en ce qui concerne l'estimation du coût de l'inclusion potentielle de ces trois langues régionales parmi les langues officielles de l'Union européenne. Ce que je peux dire, c'est qu'on a accepté cette demande et on a accepté de coordonner les travaux des institutions différentes de l'Union européenne en ce qui concerne la préparation de telle estimation. Donc le travail est en cours en ce moment et c'est tout ce que je peux te dire en ce moment.
Merci Balázs. Est-ce qu'il y a d'autres questions à propos de ce sujet? Non. Est-ce qu'il y a d'autres questions pour Balázs aujourd'hui? Ce n'est pas le cas. Merci Balázs. Donc, Jad, tu as une question? Jadel est toujours connecté en ligne. Tu dois appuyer sur... Ah oui, tu es là.
Oui, c'est bon?
Oui, c'est bon, on te voit, on t'entend.
C'est sur la relation avec la Chine. J'y vais maintenant?
Oui, allez-y, merci.
Oui, c'est pour avoir un commentaire sur ce que l'Union européenne peut attendre du sommet États-Unis-Chine, puisqu'il y a un réchauffement des relations entre les deux. Nous, en Union européenne, on avait plutôt durci notre position récemment, et les Chinois nous accusent tout le temps d'être suivistes des États-Unis. Est-ce que ça va changer quelque chose pour nous, ce réchauffement des relations Chine-États-Unis, et qu'est-ce qu'on peut en attendre?
Peter.
Merci. Ce n'est pas vraiment pour nous commenter les rencontres, les réunions, les interactions entre nos partenaires, parce que les États-Unis, et même si la Chine sont nos partenaires, s'il y a un sommet, une rencontre d'un haut niveau, au plus haut niveau entre les États-Unis et la Chine, c'est une chose des relations bilatérales entre les deux. Nous avons nos propres relations avec la Chine. Le représentant Borrell a été en Chine le mois dernier pour discuter exactement le contenu de cette relation. Nous sommes en train de préparer le sommet entre l'Union européenne et la Chine, donc pour soutenir, pour souligner l'importance que nous attachons à ces partenariats, à ces relations, dans le cadre de la définition que nous avons avec la Chine. C'est un partenaire stratégique, c'est un compétiteur économique et c'est un rival systémique.
Merci, Peter. Est-ce qu'il y a d'autres questions à propos de la relation avec la Chine? Ce n'est pas le cas. D'autres questions affaires étrangères pour Peter? Oui, Giovanni.
Giovanni Del Re a venire. I just wanted to go back to yesterday and what the High Representative said about Gaza and the role of the Palestinians. He said a sentence, if I didn't understand wrongly, he said Gaza should be under a Palestinian Authority, not necessarily the Palestinian Authority. Since yesterday wasn't that much time for asking more questions, maybe you can elaborate more on this. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The High Representative was mentioning this in the context of the, let's say, 6 principles he floated with the member states regarding the current situation and our approach revolving around 3 no's and 3 yes. So basically, the issue of the governance of Gaza is part of these 6 points, so to speak. This all, of course, will be further elaborated and discussed with the partners, both within the European Union and in the region. High Representative indicated that he would be talking about this also in Israel and in Palestine and in other countries when he goes on his tour later this week. And the point is that Gaza needs to be governed by an authority, cannot be governed by Hamas, as was the case until now. Hamas is a terrorist organization, and we have all seen to what misery and tragedy Hamas brought people of Gaza and the Gaza Strip as such. So this is the point. Gaza cannot be reoccupied. Gaza cannot be dissected. Gaza cannot be detached from the future Palestinian territories or hopefully Palestinian state at one point, but it needs to be governed properly by a legitimate authority. That was the point of the High Representative.
You have a follow-up, Giovanni. Go ahead.
Are you thinking of something like a transition period? Because many other member states are saying, well, in the end, there must be just one government for the whole Palestinian territory, so West Bank and Gaza. So is the idea, the hypothesis, let's say, that there must be transition time?
At this stage, the idea is that there needs to be legitimacy, that there needs to be authority which can legitimately govern Gaza Strip with strong legitimacy, of course. And whether this legitimacy will be backed up, as High Representative indicated, by the decision of the UN Security Council or by something else, I think these are all things that will be worked out as we go in the process. Right now, I think the sequences of the priorities is very clear. First, we have to deal with the humanitarian tragedy. And the humanitarian tragedy has 2 phases, on the Palestinian side and on the Israeli side. On the Israeli side, it's the hostages and the continued firing of the rockets by Hamas. And on the Palestinian side, it's the immense suffering of the innocent civilians. So this is what we are focusing on right now. This was also captured both in the EU27 statement from Sunday and also in the discussions and outputs of the ministers' discussions yesterday. Then the second step is the day after. The day after is about what are we going to do with the overall conflict. There, the two-state solution is the idea that needs to be beefed up and worked on by the international community and, of course, the Israelis and the Palestinians themselves. And somewhere in between, along, as we go step by step trying to solve this situation, then also the issue of the governance on the concrete arrangements in Gaza will be worked out in the efforts, joint efforts. This is very important to stress. These need to be joint efforts, of course, of the Palestinians and Israelis, first of all, and then with the huge support of the international community, with the European Union playing an important role, but again, in sync with our other international partners.
Thank you, Peter. Other questions relating to the situation in Israel and in Gaza? Not the case. Other questions relating to foreign affairs? Not the case either. Thank you very much, Peter. Other questions for us today? Sandor, come back to you.
Yes, hello. So the question is the same, Christian. Did the Hungarian government send a reply to the latest questionnaire related to justice reform? Thanks so much.
Thank you, Sandor. It's actually not Christian, my mistake. That's Stefan, but he's coming on the podium with me.
Thank you. I understand why you would mistake me for Christian. So indeed, you know that in July 2023 already, Hungary had informed the European Commission that it considers fulfilling the horizontal enabling condition on the Charter of Fundamental Rights in the area of judicial independence. We analyzed thoroughly the information we received from Hungary and then submitted questions to the Hungarian authorities on 26th of September, following which we received a reply, which we again thoroughly analyzed. And then on the 1st of November, we sent another letter to Hungary to seek further clarifications in order to help us finalizing our final assessment. But we have not yet received a reply from Hungary to my knowledge. Thank you.
Thank you, Stefan. Other questions relating to this topic? Not the case. Other questions for Stefan on the various files he covers? Not the case either. So thank you, Stefan. Other questions for us today? Do not see hands raised. There we go. One online. Giorgio, you have the floor. Giorgio, you need to press on the speak button.
Sorry about that. Can you hear me now, Arianna?
We can hear you, but we cannot see you.
I'm sorry about that. I'm trying to fix it. Can I still ask my question?
I'm afraid not. The rules of our press room ask for...
sorry.
We see you now. Now you can. Thank you.
I'm really sorry about that. Thank you. I have a question about France, that today announced a new pricing mechanism for electricity, and under this new mechanism, some extra profits made by EDF will be redistributed to consumers and to French businesses. So I was wondering whether the Commission considers this as potentially a state aid measure that should be notified, and I was wondering whether this can kind of play a role in the talks between the Commission and France on the reform of EDF, again, to comply with EU state aid rules. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Giorgio. Lea is joining me here to answer your question.
Good afternoon. Thank you. Sorry for the voice. So indeed, I'm here for the first question you had, especially on the state aid. So we would really have no specific comment at this moment. It's for the member state to assess if a specific measure involves state aid, and if it does, it would need to be notified then to the Commission for its assessment before actually granting any aid to beneficiaries, unless the measure is made in a way that it is covered by block exemptions. So that would be all.
Thank you, Lea. Other questions for us today? Actually, sorry, other questions for Lea first, relating to competition matters? Does not seem to be the case. Thanks a lot, Lea. Other questions more generally for us? Not the case. either. So thank you, everyone. Thank you to the interpreters, to those who have participated, to my colleagues, of course, and we'll see you tomorrow for the college readout. We will be announcing further arrangements on the economic forecast later, as Verle has said. Thank you. Goodbye.